Hey everybody, what's going on? Ren Carruthers here with your Future Stars Friday forecast on this 2-year-old Tuesday. So last week we had Win and You're in action pointed to Future Stars Friday overseas in the KPMG Juvenile Champions. We saw Cadillac cruise to victory. Yeah, okay, a pun. I have to do it. I'm cheesy. What can I tell you? And then over at the Cura, we saw Shirl win the Montclair Stud Stakes. So they're in to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Fillies, respectively. This weekend, not only did we have the Woodbine Mile, a win and you're in for the mile, and we saw Starship Jubilee take on the boys impressively. We also had win and you're in action on Sunday for the Juvenile Turf and the Juvenile Turf Fillies with the Summer Stakes and the Natalma. In the Summer Stakes, it was Gretzky the Great. And you had to think, giving that horse that name, naming him after the Great One, he had to be good. Let's take a look back at the Summer Stakes and Gretzky the Great, bring it on home with a victory. Just have to find it here for you. Share.
Reaction from Ready to Repeat in the gate. And they're off. One of the best into stride is American Monarch. Came flush out with the lead, but taking over soon after. Ready to Repeat dashes out 2.5. Gretzky the Great goes to second from American Monarch, Secret Potion, and Heat of the Night. A length older Grand and Download is the early trailer. Ready to Repeat out in front, settling now by 2.5. In second, Gretzky the Great. A length away third, Secret Potion with American Monarchs. Splitting them in the center, Heat of the Night half away, Download, and last is Dolder Grand. That is the order in the Summer Stakes. Ready to Repeat in front, out by a length and 3/4, and now 2 1/4. In second is Gretzky the Great. On the inside, Secret Potion as they head into the turn, and heading down to the 4.5. In fourth position there, Heat of the Night in the center, taken up a bit behind American Monarch. And on the outside, Dolder Grand and Download, they're starting to close into it. The leader remains Ready to Repeat by a couple of lengths to Gretzky the Great. Over on the inside, Secret Potion under a little bit of pressure, but going forward is American Monarch, and now Dolder Grand sweeps home on the outside from Heat of the Night and Download. Ready to Repeat goes on, comes for the home stretch in front of the Summer Stakes by about a length and a half to Gretzky the Great. American Monarch hooks to the center. Gretzky the Great comes alongside Ready to Repeat, and Gretzky the Great and Ready to Repeat well ahead of the opposition. And Gretzky the Great has gone by Ready to Repeat in the blink of an eye. 3 lengths away the others. American Monarch heads them. Gretzky the Great goes to the rail, and now Ready to Repeat trying to rally again in second. But Gretzky the Great is the best in the field by far. Gretzky the Great wins the Summer Stakes, 3 lengths to Ready to Repeat, Dolder Grand, and then came American Monarch.
I just realized my audio is not on. Thank you to my guest who's waiting in my green room, my very special guest, and my husband yelling at me from above. I appreciate that. I was muting my mic because I realized when I was showing these replays in previous shows, I had my mic up, and so it was causing feedback. So, okay, well, there we go. So what I was saying to you, there you are, Gretzky the Great winning the Summer Stakes, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. His sire is Nyquist. Nyquist is one of only 2 horses to have ever won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and then go on to win the Kentucky Derby, the other horse being Street Sense. Now, Nyquist won the Juvenile in 2015. That was at Keeneland, who is our host track for this year's Breeders' Cup. I'm going to show you that replay here in just a minute. But before I do, I want to talk about the bottom side of this pedigree because he's at a Pearl Turn, who's a daughter of Bernardini, 2006's Eclipse champion, 3-year-old. And you can really see the best of both Nyquist, who himself, by the way, is a son of 2010's Eclipse champion 2-year-old and Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Uncle Mo, as well as Bernardini in Gretzky the Great. This is Nyquist's first crop, okay? And he's already now got 2 Grade 1 winners. He got another Grade 1 winner on dirt in the Spinaway Stakes, and that was with Vequist. And the interesting thing about that is that the horse who was third, the filly in third in the Spinaway Stakes, was Lady Lily, okay? So she's another daughter of Nyquist. And Lady Lily, Vequist, and Gretzky the Great, all progeny of Nyquist in his first crop here, all of them are out of mares by sons of AP Indy. Yes, Hall of Famer AP Indy, who won the Breeders' Cup Classic in '92 as a 3-year-old, the same season he won the Test of a Champion, the Belmont Stakes. I mean, check this out. Ladies Lily, again, third in the Spinaway Stakes. Broodmare sire, Pulpit, the son of AP Indy, and the sire of Tappet. Vequist's broodmare sire is Mineshaft, 2003's Horse of the Year, a son of AP Indy. And then Gretzky the Great, again, his broodmare sire is 2006's champion 3-year-old colt Bernardini. Bernardini himself, he had a short career, but he made the most of it. He won 6 of 8 races, over $3 million, won the Withers, the Preakness, the Jim Dandy, the Travers, the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and he just got beat a length in the Breeders' Cup Classic by Invasor. Now, as I did tell you, Nyquist is a Breeders' Cup winner, again, of the Juvenile. So let's take a look back at the 2015 Breeders' Cup Juvenile featuring Nyquist at Keeneland. See here?
They're all in line and we are ready for the start. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Waterloo Bridge got shuffled back at the break. A good start for Cocked and Loaded. Unbridled Outlaw to the inside. It's Riker. And Riker will grab the lead. Unbridled Outlaw running in second. Cocked and Loaded is third. Conquest Biggie, the gray, is fourth. And just in behind the leaders moving into that turn. Then it's ISO third. Nyquist floated wide. Siding Spring was out there too. Rallis comes through in between horses. And then it's Exaggerator on the inside. Greenpoint Crusader saving all the ground early. 7 lengths off the lead. And they're followed by Swipe and Brody's Cause. Waterloo Bridge is second last. Great and our Superstar at the back of the field in the first quarter mile is up at 23 2/5 seconds. On to the backstretch they go. And it's Riker in front. The Canadian horse, the leader by a half length. Unbridled Outlaw running in second to the outside. Right behind them, Conquest Biggie, Cocked and Loaded to the outside, and Exaggerator along the rail. Then comes Siding Spring, Rallis, and Nyquist outside of them. 2 lengths back to Isotherm. As the field makes their way into the turn, Greenpoint Crusader guided off the rail for a clear path. Around the turn they go. Riker is in front. And it is Riker 3/4 of a length to the good. Unbridled Outlaw in second as they make their way around the far turn. Cocked and Loaded now moves quickly to the outside. And Cocked and Loaded comes after front-running Riker. And they're coming to the top of the stretch with Riker turning for home in front. Cocked and Loaded. And here's Nyquist on the outside, making a rush for the front runners as they come toward the final furlong. And Nyquist has taken the lead. The undefeated Nyquist in front with 1/16 to go. And to the outside comes Swipe trying to close in. Nyquist and Swipe down to the wire. Nyquist has won. He's a champion. It was Swipe second and then came
Allison, who's in the green room, thank you. I'm doing it again. I just get too excited. I want to talk about these horses right as soon as the backtrack is over. So I don't remember to put my mic back on. So what I was saying was, there you go, Nyquist. Yes, a champion, undefeated at 2 years old in 5 stars. I mean, we've got the front runner, which is now the American Pharaoh, actually coming up this weekend. That's a race he won during that 2-year-old season ahead of winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And then at 3, we saw him win the San Vicente, the Florida Derby, the Kentucky Derby. And now, like I said, he already is represented by 2 Grade 1 winners in just his first crop. Vequist winning the Spinaway Stakes on dirt, and now this colt, Gretzky the Great, winning the Summer Stakes, going a mile on the turf for trainer Mark Cassie, jockey Kazushi Kimura, and he's actually bred by Anderson Farms, by the way. It's Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners and Gary Barber who own him. But Anderson Farms, if you'll remember, they also bred that $1.6 million Medaglia d'Oro filly who just went through the ring recently at Keeneland. So obviously they have a lot of great stock there. But this Gretzky the Great, I got to tell you, he also has really great pedigree as you go down the page. His second dam is called Turn Me Loose by Chris S. And she's a half sister to actually another son of AP Indy in St. Anne Down. And you may remember him. He won the Churchill Down Sprint, as well as the Duncan F. Kenner, who's third in the Phoenix Stakes. But if you go back into this pedigree, he's also related to a horse who was, a real big fan favorite up there in Canada, who was actually second in the 2016 Woodbine Mile. And I'm talking about Tower of Texas. And you know who trained Tower of Texas? Well, dual Hall of Fame trainer Roger Attfield. And as I said, I have waiting for me in the green room here his assistant trainer, Allison Walker. Hey, Allison.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for trying to clue me into the fact that I was muted. I appreciate that.
I wasn't sure if you could see me or not.
At first, the very first time I did it, I did not see you doing it. And I heard my husband shouting down at me, and I thought something was happening with our human 2-year-old. And then I saw you doing this. I was like, oh, wait. Something has got awry here. But no, thank you so much for hanging tight while we talked about Gretzky the Great. What did you think of that performance?
That it was awesome. It was fantastic. I love to see Anderson Breds doing well. We have been fortunate enough to train some Anderson Breds. In fact, you were talking about the $1.6 million horse that they had sold. Roger had trained that mare, Orchard Beach.
Oh, okay.
So, another small world connection. And sorry, a fun fact about Tower of Texas.
Yes, tell me.
He was also owned in partnership with the Van Meters. And I believe Will Van Meter trained Pearl Turn.
Oh my gosh, well, there you go.
Oh, sorry. I had done a little digging. Yeah.
I love it.
A lot of connections there.
See, that's the thing that's so cool about it. This whole concept when Breeders' Cup moved all the 2-year-old races to just one card and called it Future Stars Friday. I just love the whole concept because we kind of look at this as a showcase. But the way I also view it as the continuance of the stories of these horses' predecessors. And we have a lot of cool connections, especially with the filly with whom your team took the Natalma Stakes. And of course, I'm talking about Lady Speightspeare. Before we talk about her, I do want to talk about you and your whole background, how you got into racing, how you became part of the Roger Attfield team. I should give him a lot of love right off the top before we even get into that, because, no pressure or anything, but we're talking again about a guy who's not only in the Canadian Hall of Fame, but he's in the Racing Hall of Fame here in the States. He's an 8-time Sovereign Award winner, a 3-time Canadian Triple Crown winner. He's trained 6 Canadian Horses of the Year. He's won the Queen's Plate 8 times. We've seen him send out horses like Allie Deed, McCullough, Carotene, Perfect Shirl, who we'll get into more later. Her sire, Perfect Soul. He won with Perfect Shirl, of course, the 2011 Filly and Mirror Turf in 2011. He's also had some other really great performances in the Breeders' Cup because, obviously that's where my focus has to be. Second in the 90 BC Turf with Approval, the 88 Sprint with Play the King, who has a stakes race named after him. And then third with Primally in the 97 Juvenile Fillies. So you know the whole Canadian racing scene, going back to the fact that you grew up in Fort Erie.
I am a Fort Erie native. I have pictures of my mom holding me at the racetrack as a little girl trying to watch the ponies or stopping at the fence to see them on the way to school. I was introduced to horses young, but just at a farm, and a jockey named Jack Lozon was actually hurt in Hong Kong, and their family moved home. I was in the 3rd grade, and his son was in my class. And I think I was like 15, turning 16, and he asked if I wanted a job at the racetrack, and he'd pick me up and take me to work. Told my mom he'd make sure I was safe, and I started hot walking in high school. I wasn't allowed to ride until I finished university, mom's rules. And I worked a little bit in the media department at Fort Erie with Elisa Blow. And as soon as I graduated from Brock, I was like, I just want to go to Florida 1 year with my friends, just once. And I had a lot of help along the way. I worked with a lot of really good trainers, and a lot of really good friends helped teach me how to gallop racehorses. And the first job I had was with Roger at Payson Park.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, so how did you get connected with the Roger Attfield stable in the first place? There's actually a really interesting story going into how you went into the job.
Right. He had horses at Fort Erie with Lane Gilliforti. I think he had roughly 75 in training that year. So they would come down and we'd run some, or, you know, they'd run up here and we would take them and train them for a bit and they'd come back up. And between Lane and some of the riders that were there, they were also coming back to Toronto and then heading down to Florida for the winter. Had put in a good word. I came up a couple weeks before the end of Woodbine training, just to kind of get okay, she can stay on. And they needed help. They took me down. They gave me every shot because I was not very good when I started for Roger.
I heard something about a broken arm.
Yes, that horse actually is our stable pony now.
Okay.
I groomed him when he was a racehorse. His name was Sleepin' Lion, and Claudia and Henry Whalen trained him. And he won on my birthday. I think it was like my 18th birthday. I groomed him, and they retired him, and I flipped him on the track to be a pony. And that fall, I was like, I want to ride in the Christmas parade with my friends. And he was good. Probably not ready for it, but really good. And the competitive side in me, when a girl said, my horse is faster than yours, you want to race home? I thought, sure. My horse is still race fit. Let's do it. No helmets or anything. So you had to look cute in the Christmas parade, which I always wear a helmet now.
Good.
And we took off down this old train track path and laughing and having fun, and me thinking, well, I'm in a Western saddle in a big bit. He'll turn and slow down. And we went to go around this little tree, and he spooked, and I went left and he went right. And everything kind of slows down when you fall off. And I thought, drag me. He'll eventually stop. So I let him drag me for a little while, and she ran me over with her horse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So in total denial, they actually caught him onto the on-ramp of the QEW, which is our major highway here.
I've been on that.
Yeah. And they brought him back, and my wrist was dangling, and I thought, I'm fine. And my quad was split. And I untacked him, loaded him on the trailer, got in my car, and I just bought my first standard car. It was like my first car all on my own, and it was my right hand, and I thought,
oh no,
I can't drive it. They took me to the hospital, and I had said, I got a job with Roger Attfield. He's a Hall of Famer. I can't have surgery. I need to start work. And they rebroke it for me and put a little slice in the cast. I went every 2 weeks and had them tighten the bone until I left for Florida. My dad drove me down, helped me break off the cast the day before I started work, and it's been history since then.
That's crazy. I mean, just hearing that I had them break my arm, like, what, have you always been so physically tough?
I never thought about it that way. I mean, I didn't think I was really tough. I just knew I had to work for Roger Attfield.
That was it, yeah.
There was no option. He's the best of the best, and I still feel that way up here. So I'm glad I did it.
So what has it been like working? I mean, that might be an obvious question. Of course, it's amazing to work for a barn that is consistently on point. But more of the nuance, what is it like working for a trainer? The thing that's so cool about Roger is he came from an equestrian background himself, show jumping.
Like I said, he still rides that horse that I fell off of that day. Every day. He's great. He's understanding. He works with you. He has done it and has absolutely done it better than you before. So you can't say no, and he'll tell you to try something. And I'm telling you, it almost always works, where you think, oh, never going to happen. And you go out there and you do what he says, and you're like, well, that's why you're the double Hall of Famer. Yeah. He doesn't miss a beat. He sees things other people don't when he's watching horses train, and he's got a great eye. He's been phenomenal to work for.
Do you think there's any added enjoyment for him to see a horse like Lady Speightspeare, who is connected to horses he's trained in the past. And again, we'll talk about Shirl's fight also. Just to see horses related to horses he's trained come back in his barn.
Absolutely. That family in particular, he has had a ton of the kin from. And they're all quirky, to say the least. They all have a special attitude about them, and you can't be the boss. They're very patient. They each have a side, whether it's a nervous side or an aggressive side, and he sees it and he loves it. Like, he loves that attitude. He loves when they're fierce, and he's patient. He's so patient with them. I think visits all of those horses. Well, he goes around and talks to them all every day, but he ponies them himself when they need to be, and is at the gate with them schooling to make sure nobody gets after them the wrong way. He's very hands-on.
No, that's awesome. We just mentioned Shirl's Spite, for example, of course, owned and bred by Charles Fifke, who has, had perfect Shirl as dam. We saw him, he was coming in out of 2 victories, very impressive victories, one on the turf, one on synthetic. This was a horse that you guys have been pretty excited about, to the point that you thought he was a potential Derby contender. What can you tell us about him? I know that the Woodbine Mile did not go as hoped, but he came out of the race fine, I believe. So what can you say about this horse, and why you were so high on him, and why we can still be excited about him going forward?
Right. We, I think, collectively as a group have loved this horse from day one. He's been spicy but straightforward.
I love it.
But he was a work partner to Mr. Hustle, who was 2-year-old of the year up here last year. Mr. Hustle was impressive from day one. Same way, won right off the hop. And we were looking forward to him, but he had some 2-year-old issues. So Roger did the right thing, spoke to Chuck, put him on the shelf, let him have a little rest and grow up. And obviously he came back ready and raring to go. Roger had said in an interview after he had won the first time, I've been
by 8 legs
this horse all winter.
He must have felt good. I mean,
absolutely. He's been awesome. He trains effortlessly in the morning and always looking to do more. He's a feeling good colt, but very classy. And he trained back this morning from the mile, and was great. He's in great form.
And you were on him, right, this morning?
I was lucky enough to get on him. Unfortunately, his regular rider actually was hurt this week. Okay. He'll be back in a few days. He's just taking a few days, knocked his head, coincidentally, on Shirl's full sister.
Oh.
Who's a little spicy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, spicy. I get it.
She's fine. Everybody's fine.
Is she too?
She is.
Okay, there you go.
As well.
So
she's
another
special.
So obviously we really like this idea of Speightstown with this female family, because not just like Shirl's Spite here being by Speightstown, 2004's Eclipse champion sprinter won the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I have that backtrack, we'll show it. But before we do, he is also the sire of Lady Speightspeare. And the thing I find so interesting, her dam, by the way, for those of you who do not know, is a full sister to a Woodbine Mile winner in Shakespeare, and a half sister to the aforementioned perfect Shirl, who won the 2011 filly and mare turf. So the interesting thing, last year's winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, sharing a daughter of Speightstown, and out of a Breeders' Cup filly and mare turf winner, and shared account. So don't you kind of love that symmetry?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and shared account herself is a daughter of 2003's Breeders' Cup Classic champion, Pleasantly Perfect. And this filly's dam, Lady Shakespeare, is a daughter of another Breeders' Cup champion, in this regard, the Breeders' Cup Turf, the 87 winner, Theatrical. So I really love the fact that we've got Breeders' Cup champions all over the place.
I'm liking our chances more and more.
I'm loving your chances. So let's talk about, why don't we watch her replay? And then I want to hear what you thought of the performance and what you had been expecting versus what we actually saw. Okay? All right, let's go. This is Lady Speightspeare winning the 2020 Grade 1 Natalma Stakes, getting her ticket punched to Future Stars Friday. So let's go here, share the screen. I'll share the audio. I'll mute myself and hopefully remember to unmute myself this time. Here we go.
Really Speightspeare putting on a turn right at the last moment. Emma Jane Wilson to the side. And waiting his big plans. So those in the gate, other than Lady Speightspeare, still remain calm. As she gets back on board, Emma Jane. Big plans to come up. Starter Ian Ross takes a look across at the field here with Lady Speightspeare, the focus, who is actually the favorite in the betting right now, still at 2-1. Big plans, called in, moves up, all in, locked up, and they're off, and they got out as one. A good start, big plans, and Dreaming of Drew away sharply in the center. Lady Speightspeare between them, and big plans still deep on the track, holds the lead by a couple. Lady Speightspeare, Dreaming of Drew, and then a break of 2 to Stunning Princess. Sleek Lynx, Seasons is second last. Alda is last early. About 5.5 covers this field, and from the outside, big plans got to the hedge in front by Lady Speightspeare. In third, Dreaming of Drew coasting along, and coming forward is Sleek Lynx on the outside. 1 to Stunning Princess, Alda coming up on the outside, and last is now Seasons. Out in front, the long shot, big plans. 3/4, Lady Speightspeare. 1 away third, Dreaming of Drew on the inside. 1/2 to Sleek Lynx, and 2 lengths away came Stunning Princess and Alda, and 1.5 to Seasons at the back. No change, and big plans leads the Natalma Stakes field inside the half mile. About 2 to Lady Speightspeare, having the run of the race. Dreaming of Drew on the inside, shuffling forward. Big plans continues on. Sleek Lynx is about 3.5 behind the leader in fourth, and then Alda pushed along a bit now. And back second last, Stunning Princess, and last Seasons. They come after big plans. Lady Speightspeare the outside, Dreaming of Drew the rail as they turn. Alda is finishing well down the outside. Big plans kicks on in front. On the outside, Lady Speightspeare, Dreaming of Drew, flies up the rail. Alda down the outside. Lady Speightspeare hit the front. Down the center of the track, Alda. It's Lady Speightspeare from Alda. Alda coming, but Lady Speightspeare in front. Lady Speightspeare from Alda. And Lady Speightspeare has gone on to win the Natalma by...
Hey, it works again. Roger says, I'll talk to you before every race if it means I'm going to win. And Roger, we know the end result. A little apprehensive there at the start. You know, looked like she had some issues, rearing up a little bit, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah, I see that she must have popped up there, and Emma got off her or jumped out the back of the gate, from what I could see. But then she settled down and she broke okay, didn't she? You know, but I was a bit worried about that. Yeah.
You mentioned that she didn't have to have the lead. You said she could rate. That's exactly what she did.
Yeah, exactly. And that's always nice to see, right? And, you know, when you break your maiden and you go into a race like this off of going wire to wire, you really haven't had any education or anything going into something like this. So it was nice to see that for sure.
Last question. You know what I'm going to ask you. Are we going to the Breeders' Cup?
Well, that would be up to Mr. Fipke. And I would say, knowing Mr. Fipke, I would say we probably are.
All right.
Okay, mics were muted. So there you go, Breeders' Cup bound. And we did hear his impression of what happened at the start. What did you make of it?
I am always nervous when 2-year-olds go to the gate, whether it's their first start or their 5th start. You just never know them well enough yet to know what they're anticipating. She trained the morning of the race. We train 99% of them. They go out and jog in the morning, and I had actually ponied her, and she was sharp on her game, having fun, excited to be out there. Sad we didn't let her gallop. She came back on her toes. So her going there, I thought anything could happen. She does have a very good mind to her, but she's so excited. Emma had said after the race, when the gate crew or the starter yelled last one and went to love the last one, she anticipated the noise as a break, which makes sense. I'm just thankful our gate crew rocks and kept those front legs from getting over the gate, and we got to make the start. So
No, I
I
mean,
am
she's so
she
talented.
at the gate schooling starting next week.
Yeah, right. Get her ready. Get her ready because you actually got close to having a horse that you were involved with in this Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, correct?
Yes. 2014, I worked for Lucas, and we had Lady Zuzu, who we were ecstatic about. She was training phenomenal. Was in a really good place. She was also a very difficult filly to work with. And she got loaded in the gate, kicked, and had a cut on her hock. Not
desperate, yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as there's blood, you're out. So
yeah, right.
we were devastated. That was
Well,
and luckily
you have had some success with horses, but we'll get to that after we talk a little bit more here about Lady Speightstown. I do want to acknowledge we got Jetwave Lindsay, hola, from Mexico. Hola. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're kicking back, and I would love a margarita right now, actually. I think the weather's turning a little chilly where we are right now, and that would be nice.
but that's good.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Emma Jane Wilson, she's obviously a great fit for this filly because when you're coming back from a moment like that in the gate, you got to get their mind on straight again. And Emma Jane really seems to have this almost horse whisperer type connection, I think, with her mounts.
You know what? She is a great horsewoman. She's a great rider. She has a super strong finish, as you can see in that race. She can really pick one up and get a little extra out of them. And it takes a lot to phase her.
Yeah, she's tough.
She's the girls I know, absolutely. I think she did a great job. And I think way back, and this was before my time with Roger, but I believe Emma had rode the Dam before.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. I'd have to go back and look.
Early days, Emma rode Lady Shakespeare.
I should give some more love to Lady Shakespeare herself too. It's hard when you're already a full sibling to a Grade 1 winner, and then you're a half to perfect Shirl. But yeah, I mean, Lady Shakespeare herself, she had a really nice race career. She was actually sixth in the 2008 Natalma Stakes. But that was after winning her debut. She went on to run fourth in the Grade 1 QE2 Challenge Cup at Keeneland, and she capped her career with scores in the Bewitch and the New York Stakes. So she was a solid racehorse for sure. As far as what you made of this filly's performance, we heard from Roger. Did you expect that we were going to see that new dimension to her where she was going to rate off the speed there? Because obviously she's got sure foot. I think if she had wanted to, she probably could have gone to the front and never looked back.
Absolutely. She does love to have other horses around her in the morning. She's a bit of a follower by nature. She trains often in behind horses or just off of them. And she's happy to be there. She relaxes, which is often rare. She just kind of settles wherever you put her. She just likes to be out there training. So that I wasn't concerned about. I was a little scared if she got too far out on the front on the lead, too early. She does wear blinkers, but being on the outer turf and with the grandstand there and everybody cheering and screaming, you never again know what those 2-year-olds are going to do. So I was glad to see her do it the way she did. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was very professional, shows a lot of want, but again, it runs in the family. We already talked about her Dam being Grade Stakes winner. We talked about her Dam siblings being so impressive. Her second Dam, a Grade 1 winner of the Flower Bowl Stakes in Lady Shirl. So again, just through and through, class in this pedigree. And as I did say earlier, I do have the 2004 Breeders' Cup Sprint queued up, featuring her sire Speightstown winning the sprint. And I think she looks a lot like her sire. So let's go ahead and take a look back at that.
And they're up. Midas Eyes, sharp start from the outside. My cousin Matt Cajun beat is right there. Our new recruit, Abundanza, right there. So too, Coupe. Speightstown coming up the inside. A scramble on for the lead. Goldstorm right there in the thick of it, too. Abundanza takes the field out of the backstretch. Goldstorm second ahead. Coupe third. Violent on the inside. Speightstown now back running in third. Our new recruit tailing off in fourth. Cajun beat fifth and moving on the outside. Midas Eyes is on the move. He's now running into seventh position. On the inside, Champ Ali is now eighth. My cousin Matt is ninth.
Keela 10th, but he's asked for more run. 12 lengths from the battle up front. Then Bawana Charlie, stretch running PT's Great Eagle. Clock stopper really never got underway. The opening quarter, 21 and 1/5 seconds. Astonishing pace here by Longshot Abundanza. Here comes Gold Storm to the attack of the outside. And Speightstown down at the rail. Those three heading into the final furlong together. Speightstown comes away with the lead. Speightstown in front. Gold Storm battling on, but he is now spent. My cousin Matt, a long shot threat coming late. Bawana Charlie on the far outside. Keela's coming late too, but it's going to be Speightstown. Speightstown wins by 2 on the wire. Keela.
The thing I really love about that replay, and I said she looks a lot like her sire, but it's not just the physical, it's the want, it's the enjoyment of it. If you watch that backtrack of him and you just pay attention to him in his eye, he looks so happy out there. He's relishing being out in front and dominating all those other horses and saying, yeah, I'm the man, come get me if you can. You can't, what's up, you know?
Absolutely. And I do think she ran very similar and was happy when that horse came on her outside, and she was not bothered by the horse on her inside and was competitive.
No, I know. Now,
fight it out.
Not to turn this into a complete replay show, but this family is so deep. And one of the best things that, like I said, when I see horses like this who are heading into Future Stars Friday, is that you can see the consistency of class within the pedigree. So we got to take a look back. I'll let you choose which one we look at because I have both. I have the 2011 Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf with Perfect Shirl, and I have the 87 Breeders' Cup Turf with Theatrical. Which one should we look at first?
I love the Perfect Shirl one because I was there, and the Breeders' Cup in Kentucky this year, and she was 27 to 1, and just the way she gets through traffic, was phenomenal.
Let's watch her 2011. And by the way, you've actually been on her back. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it was at the end of her career, but she was an experience.
That's awesome though. Come on. And just to remind people, the relationship of Perfect Shirl with Lady Speightspeare is that Perfect Shirl is a half sister to Lady Speightspeare's dam. So basically her auntie. So let's check it out. 2011. Oh, I still have to get used to the share screen. It's a few steps of what I have to do. Some people have somebody producing on the background and pulling this stuff up. I do it on my own right here. So it's just it just takes a moment. Let's see here where we are. Here we are, 2011. Oh, and here's the other fun thing. Remember I mentioned Sharing, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf last year, and her dam Shared Account won the Filly and Mare Turf. Well, Shared Account won the Filly Mare Turf in 2010 and then came back in 2011 and is in this race. So let's check this out. Oh, I got to start it actually.
In the gate. And they're off. And quickly, it's Cordero sending great communicator right to the front. Sir Harry.
Oh, I've got the wrong one going. I've got the wrong one going. Let me go back here for some reason. Okay, that's why it's still frozen. Hold on just a moment. Here we go. Now it should play. No, it's not showing. There we go.
Dynasty goes up and straight in very quietly. And so it will be Misty for Me to complete the lineup. Very evenly matched race here between the American runners and the European invaders. Here is Misty for Me coming up. Goes straight into the gate. Gate closed. They're all set. Sent on their mile and 3/8 journey. Misty for Me was a little slow to get going. Dubawi Heights broke very smartly from the inside gate. Star Salida broke well, but the rider's taking back. And now there goes Dynaslu. And Dynaslu's going to kick on to lead Dubawi Heights. They go at fast pace for this distance. In fact, Dubawi Heights has taken hold of that bit now, and he's pulling the rider out the saddle. Dubawi Heights in front of length to Dynaslu. They go 3 clear. Star Salita, rider's got a stranglehold on her back in 3rd. And here's Frankie Detari now, very nice and comfortable, racing in Narrain in the 4th position. On the outside of those two, we have Shared Account. Distorted Legacies on the grandstand side, and Campina is right there at the rail. Racing between those two now comes Perfect Shirl. Racing in behind them, we have Misty for Me, who's improved a little bit. Aruna is right there, and now Campina's dropped back light, but they're very, very compact. 7 lengths will cover them all. Just about half the journey covered now into Dubawi Heights. More relaxed now. Dubawi Heights in front by a length. Dynaslu's in second. Star Salita has the perfect spot in third right there at the rail, and she's still pretty keen to go on. Up alongside comes Rain in the gold colours right there too. Shared account on the far side. At the rail we have Harmonious in the white cap in the 6th spot. Only 3.5 off these leaders. Then comes Perfect Shirl. Distorted Legacies on the far side. Campina third last. Aruna is full of run. Aruna keen to go on. Rider riding patiently though. 5 off the leaders. And Misty for Me is last. Into the turn they go now into Dubawi Heights on the inside. Dynaslu far side. Now Star Salita. Can she get through down there? Star Salita just needs somewhere to go. Shared Account is running a big one on the far side as well. And Rain now right there between them, and Frankie Dettori's coming to tackle them. Aruna is still full of run, got 6 to make up. They're at the top of the lane now, and it is Dubawi Heights the leader. Rain in the center of the track with a big white face. Shared Account's running huge. Star Salita nowhere to go. On the outside now, can Aruna get out of there and come late? But it is Rain. Dubawi Heights is right there, and from last here comes Misty for Me. Misty for Me, extreme outside is Perfect Shirl. It's a driving finish. Perfect Shirl gonna get up. Perfect Shirl to win it. Perfect Shirl, Rain. Misty for Me was flying late. So was Distorted Legacy, and Aruna right there. Five of them went for a while together.
Okay, so again, what's it like? You just how potent this family's been. I mean, you see the class that Perfect Shirl shows, and this family has been incredibly successful for Mr. Fifkey, who also owned her sire, Perfect Soul. I mean, for you, do you see the personality? Like you said, you do see the person, but do you? I don't know. Do you see not only in terms of the temperament, but just even, I don't know, a nuance, like the way that their leg is, conformed or whatever, just like little variations.
Well, actually, a lot of the horses that Perfect Shirl has had, or thrown or foaled, have a dorsal stripe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute, actually.
Her first one, More Perfect, he had one. The 2-year-old we have right now, there's all the names are so similar. Speightstown Shirl is her name. She is one. Shirl Spite has one. We have another foal, the 3-year-old, who has been to a couple trainers before we got him, but Perfect Spidey. He's a dark bay, but is like a really, really faint one. So, and then we had a filly. She was phenomenal. She had also been through about 3 trainers before we got her. Ready and Perfect. Hers is really prominent. So.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, this is I got to show one more back. I have to show Theatrical. The 87 turf. I'm not going to show the entire race just because otherwise, see, you were worried. I got to tell people. So when I asked Allison if she'd come on the show, she's like, well, yeah, I'll come on. I don't know if I can fill a whole hour. I was like, don't worry. Don't worry. You'll be surprised how fast it goes. We're already up to 43 minutes. Can you believe it?
Oh, I appreciate your help. I didn't think it was possible.
I feel like there's still so much to actually talk about. That's why I'm saying, I don't want it to just be a clip show, because I just love how many great horses you've been, you have some sort of affiliation with in terms of getting to them where they were able to arrive. And we're going to talk more about that after we get through this. Awesome backtrack, again, of Theatrical, winning the 87 Breeders' Cup Turf. He, again, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking about Lady Speightspeare, and what an incredible pedigree this filly has, the winner of the Natalma Stakes. She is by a Breeders' Cup champion in Speightstown, who won the 2004 Breeders' Cup Sprint. She's out of Lady Shakespeare, a graded stakes winning full sister to a multiple grade winner in Shakespeare, and a half sister to 2011's filly and mare turf champion Perfect Shirl, who we just saw win that race. And Lady Shakespeare herself, again, this filly's dam, is a daughter of another Breeders' Cup champion in Theatrical. So here's the 87 Breeders' Cup Turf.
Pedigree now, there goes Trampolino. And quickly they're gaining on the front, running great communicator. Theatrical makes his move on the outside. Sir Harrow's toward the rail. Ben Pasha, four of them across the track. And here comes Trampolino to join the fray on the outside. They are a half a mile out. Sir Harry Lewis by a head. Theatrical full out and moving right with him. Great communicator trying to stay with him in third. And they are tracked by Trampolino in fourth position. Louis LeGrand has moved up in the pack. He's fifth on the outside. Then toward the rail, it's Elaine Millard now. He's looking for racing room and comes out for it. Vilsack is just 5 lengths off the lead. And Theatrical has power to the front now. The field turns for home. The arc winner taking him on the outside. Trampolino set down for the drive. Trampolino taking the lead. A furlong from the wire. But Theatrical is game. He's coming right back. The American, the European, and it is Theatrical in front. Trampolino driving hard, full out as he's trying to get him, and here is the wire, and Theatrical has won it. Absolutely spectacular. What more could you ask for? One of America's greatest grass performers, Theatrical, and he ran the race of his life this afternoon to defeat the determined Europe.
That is what the Breeders' Cup is all about, the World Championships. Oh my gosh, don't you get chills when Trampolino comes right up to him and he's like, no.
Every replay you've played, I've known what the outcome was going to be and was excited every time to see it.
I mean, real
like magic.
How often? Look, I grew up on a thoroughbred horse farm. I showed horses, but I'm not out on the track. It's a whole different ballgame being out on the track riding these horses and getting them ready for these races. How often do you see, I'm just curious, in your own experience, horses with that type of dominant personality that you can go up to them eyeball to eyeball and they're going to just, repel you?
Oh, it's rare.
Yeah.
There are some that are very competitive, or some that want to be in front, or some that love to chase other horses, or some that hate horses behind them. But when you're actually down working one and all of a sudden you feel another gear and they come up, and you feel another gear and they come up, and you start to pull away, it's kind of there's just so much more, and you can't ask for more. You're like, oh no, it's only supposed to go so fast. But there are a few special ones that you just think there's no bottom. This person loves this.
I mean, when we talk about these thrilling finishes, obviously, in horses who do show that type of alpha mentality, and the mares also, can throw it down too. We've seen that plenty of times. Most notably with a horse that you do have a very cool connection with, and Songbird and Beholder in the 2016 Breeders' Cup Distaff. My gosh, right? You must have been. Oh, here, I'll just say it right now. So you were working. You were working with D. Wayne Lucas, but you were also helping to get babies started with Linwood Farm, right? Or do I have it backward?
That was right. I was working for Roger. I had a bucket list, things I wanted to do, places I wanted to see. I wanted to do the Breeders' Cup. I wanted to work at Saratoga. I really wanted to see California, and actually through some Canadians that were in the States, Mel Giddings and Jessica Sheffield, they had actually put my name in with Lucas, and
awesome.
I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know he was going to call. I actually just kind of thought I was just going to carry on here, and those are going to be bucket list things. And one year, I was going to get to do it. And I got a call asking if I would work Saratoga and if I wanted to ride Will Take Charge. And I thought, this was a prank call. So I had actually the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life was give Roger 2 weeks notice to go and do this.
Oh, wow.
And I still, it makes me feel terrible to think about it, but I did. And it was a great experience. I rode some very awesome horses, from Will Take Charge to Take Charge Brandy, Mr. Z, Lady Zuzu. It was phenomenal. And got to do my Saratoga, Breeders' Cup, everything in 1 year. And I thought, oh, there goes that bucket list.
Hey, you still have pen and paper. You can write it up. You can keep on writing it. Yeah.
Start again.
Yeah.
But thought I needed a change. I needed a change from the racetrack. I wanted to go and break babies. I had never done it before. And I got a job at Linwood with the Ricios. And it was a phenomenal experience. There's some fantastic horses there. And one of them was Ivana Vinalot, who grew up to be Songbird. So that was Ivana Vinalot 13. And I loved her. She actually used to train with Southern gal, I believe her name was, who was a Ponce de Leon filly, or out of Ponce de Leon by Tappet.
So Mucho Macho Man.
Yes. And we used to joke and say that one was Winter Memories because she was great. And anyways, when they breezed together, we would always laugh and joke. And this filly always had so much horse. And the Ponce de Leon was a monster. She was huge and big and beautiful and a 10 out of 10 mover. And I was always like, Ivana's my favorite. Like, this one's way better. And she was just a monster to work from day one. And I'll never forget, she shipped out of Classic Mile on May 12th, which is my birthday. To California.
April 12th.
Oh,
that was a good number.
It is. Oh, I was so sad. Yeah, she nickered on the van as it pulled out.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, I cheered for her whole career. She was awesome.
That is awesome. So, I see, when you said May 12th, it made me go, wait a minute, I've seen that date somewhere else recently. You know whose birthday is also May 12th? Gretzky the Great.
No way.
That's way. So now you really have to like even more.
It's have to be my favorite.
There you go, right? So, okay, so here's the thing also. How surreal does it have to be though? Because in that race, in the Natalma Stakes, you had a daughter of Winter Memories in there in Seasons who ended up running third for Ellen J. Foxwoods. So that's kind of cool. And then, just the fact that you're talking about Songbird and just she always looked good from the start. We're talking about again now Anderson Farms, who you said has you've had a great relationship with training horses from their program. That 1.6 that we talked about earlier, did you see her her in the ring? I'm just curious.
Just the post
footage,
or
photos or anything. I haven't seen her in person myself, but just from what I've seen on social media, Medaglia d'Oro stamps his horses. I mean, let's get real, he does. But I feel like in particular his fillies, she to me looks like Songbird.
Absolutely, big face and chrome. Long legs, great neck. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Just so well conformed. So I'm super. I fangirled when I saw her just because I love Songbird so much. Would you agree? Because when I got to have a little bit of close-up personal time with Songbird on a couple of occasions when she was at Saratoga, she's so sweet.
She was always sweet. Now I can't. Again, she was still Ivana been a lot. 13.
Yeah, Ivana.
So I can't, and I know there are so many people who've touched her before, during, after. She was sweet as a baby. So I had actually got to see her the Breeders' Cup when she was 2, and got to go visit. And the groom let me go in and pet her and love her and take a picture with her while she was sleeping. And I mean, she was always so kind. So I hope she finished that way as well. I imagine she did. She was such a great mare.
Not only is that Songbird, a champion and a horse that we should love to watch a replay of anyway. But when she won that Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, guess what? It was at Keeneland. And so, considering the Keeneland's hosting the Breeders' Cup this year, I think we should watch it. Should we? I'm not going to do the whole thing. We'll watch it part way in. I don't know where I have it queued up exactly. I think I might have it coming around the turn. I'm not sure, maybe heading into it. But let's go ahead and watch Songbird in the 2015 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies.
Our turn with the advantage by 4 lengths. Mike Smith has not asked her for a thing. Meanwhile, John Velasquez getting after Rachel's Valentina, begging her to wake up and respond. Nickname is in 3rd, and Songbird is just rolling past the 8th pole. Has the lead by 6. Rachel's Valentina is in 2nd, but there is absolutely no stopping Songbird. It is all Songbird. Mike Smith aboard, crushing the field. Rachel's Valentina was home 2nd. Dothraki Queen made a late run to 3rd, and then Nickname was 4th. 1 minute, 42 and 3/5 seconds.
Oh, she's just so cool. I can't handle it. And the fun thing is, not only did you help, get her started as a baby, but you also worked with the 2014 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner and Take Charge Brandy. So you had back-to-back.
That was really cool.
How neat is that?
That was, I can't express enough that I had the luckiest few years that I could ever dream of. I couldn't have made that up. I've been very, very fortunate.
So with you having a personal connection to Songbird, I'm just, because how many people can ever say that they've been on that horse's back? I mean, come on. I mean, now we know what she went on to do, and just like the money she amassed, and she was not only 2-year-old champion, but she was 3-year-old champion, and that throwdown with Beholder. You know, there's so many people who joke and they're like, "Oh, Songbird won that." Do you get a kick out of that on social media? I mean, it is pretty funny. I think we all know it was Beholder who got the whisker down on the wire, but it is still pretty funny when you see that Songbird would have won that.
I full confession, try not to read comments or follow threads like that, because I get so invested, and so hard, because I mean, of course I wanted Songbird to win, but you can't not cheer for the older mare who's had a stellar career as well. I mean, could they not have just dead heated?
Oh my God.
They died.
Exactly. I mean, it is too bad. I mean, when we talk about Beholder, she herself also having been a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies champion, just the fact that she went on to have such a great career, because we do see a lot of our stars retire early. She's a 4-time Eclipse champion. And then going back to Songbird, I mean, Songbird won 13 of 15 starts. One of those losses, of course, just that whisker finish there with Beholder. Nearly 4.7 million in earnings. It's really so impressive. And like I said, it's duels like that. It's the easy goers and the Sunday silences and the Preakness. It's Seattle Slew fighting back against Exceller in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. It's, you know, what we saw there with Theatrical and Trompolino. These are the types of horses that really excite us and really cultivate fandom. And I love, again, that what we saw with Lady Speightspeare as a filly that is not only living up to the genetic credentials that her page tells us she should have, but she looks like she's enjoying what she does. What is a regular, what is a regular impression of basic of what you have in terms of, I mean, you don't have to get into specifics or anything, but what you get the impression is that you will be doing to get her ready for Breeders' Cup?
It's hard to say, because we're far enough out right now where you could get another race in there. Again, she will train back from that race tomorrow. So I'm pretty big on telling everybody one day at a time. But she's jogged up out of it fine. Yeah. She's ate up. She seems happy.
Doing everything right.
Right. She'll probably work back in 12 to 14 days. And kind of just go from there. I know, as Roger said, Mr. Fipke loves the big races, wants to be a part of a big day. I also believe he kind of has one of those Lucas mentalities where you can't win it if you're not in it. I mean, look at Perfect Shirl. She was 27-1 in that race and won easy, it looked like. Yeah. So I do think if everything is fine with the filly, we'll go. So I'll be interested to see. Shirl Spite, for example, Roger worked him here on the training track a mile in company instead of running him in between the Derby and his last start. So I think it's going to depend on where she is mentally and physically when we train back.
I'm curious, having worked for 2 just amazing trainers, Hall of Famers, just legendary. I mean, one is coming from a show jumping background, equestrian, you know, and from Britain, you know, and then we have the coach. And he had his quarter horses. What was your biggest takeaway of where they were both on the same, you know, the same wavelength in terms of how they run their barns? I mean, obviously, I know attention to detail is big with anybody who has success. So I'm guessing that's similar. But what do you think was the biggest divergence?
They're both tough in their own ways. They're both, I'm not even sure how to word it.
Okay.
Wayne is very direct. You know where you stand, where that horse stands, what he wants, and he tells you where he wants you to hit the horse, where on the track, where on the horse's body, when you're going to kiss to it, when you're going to ride it. Like, you know exactly what you need to do out there, every single horse.
Completely choreographed.
Right. Whereas Roger, I would say, lets the horses choreograph the morning, likes to see how the horses are feeling instead of making them feel a certain way, for lack of a better way of describing that.
It's more spontaneous.
Yeah, and it's not quite as pre-planned. Like Roger has a plan and has a goal in mind, but is willing to wiggle a little more freely as to how the horse is feeling that day, how the horse woke up, jogged up, ate up. Whereas Wayne makes a plan and you stick to the plan. And again, not saying he never.
Oh, no.
Right, but it's a little bit more pre-planned. Like when I do the set list here, and at the end of the day, I have a really good idea of what needs to happen the next day, and Roger and I will talk about it, and who should ride what, and when horses should go, and who needs the pony, who's going to the gate, who's working. But again, it's all subject to change in the morning if necessary. Whereas I obviously was not Wayne's assistant, so Bass Nichols may have a totally different opinion on this, but it seemed a little less changed when I had worked for Wayne.
Gotcha. So here you are now working as assistant trainer for Roger Attfield, and you guys have had a lot of success, a lot. And it's really nice also when a horse that you've had who's been a wonderful ambassador for your barn, you're able to retire him sound. I know Tiz a Slam was going to be looking to repeat in the Speightstown Stakes. Obviously, that didn't happen here in 2020, but he's still been such a cool horse for your barn. So I thought it'd be fun, since his retirement has been announced, to go ahead and take a look back at him winning the Speightstown.
Absolutely.
And then we can give him a loving, like, happy retirement farewell.
For sure.
All right, let's do it.
As they work up the backstretch, and they are out by about 2 or 3 lengths. In second, Avies Mesa. Mel Mitch is third. Over on the inside, it starts with a Sahib racing along to the 5/8 and no moves yet. Tiz a Slam in front. Avies Mesa tracks and stalks well. A length away, Mel Mitch has had the widest of trips, but only one off the inside. It starts with a drink is next to last, and off the inside goes Sir Sahib. They race inside the final half mile. Tiz a Slam's lead a length. Avies Mesa closing in a little bit. A length and a half away, it starts with a drinks run past Melmich and is coming up on the rail, a clear third. Melmich is giving ground. Sir Sahib's winding up, and the top two go on. Tiz a Slam in the Singspiel turns in front. Avies Mesa breathing down his neck, and they're 2.5 to Sir Sahib is finishing with a real nice rush at them both. And Sir Sahib a chance. Tiz a Slam digging in. Sir Sahib is starting to inhale them on the outside. Avies Mesa the center. Tiz a Slam still in front. Sir Sahib on the wrong lead. And Tiz a Slam gets on. A length 2 in second. Avies Mesa. Sir Sahib weakening on that effort. And Tiz a Slam gate to wire wins the Singspiel comfortably. Avies Mesa second. Sir Sahib couldn't. It starts with the drink, but Melmich pulled out the race in the home.
How cool is that horse? I mean, 9 wins and 31 starts, nearly $1 million in earnings.
I think he's like 1,000 short, isn't he?
Yeah.
I wish he could have been a millionaire. He was our gentle giant. He's enormous and so kind. He had a great relationship with jockey Stevie Bain, who has a phenomenal clock in his head, and the pair of them work so well together. He could just get out in front, slow down the pace, and just start chipping away at it coming home. When he's on his game, you have trouble catching him.
Well, I mean, especially when you're talking about, gentle giant. He's the son of 2-time classic champion, the only horse to have ever won it twice, Tiz Now, and Tiz Now throws a lot of size. How often do you see a horse who just likes to head out to the front like that and is able to maintain it being that big?
Not often. I think because he's kind of a big, plodding sort of horse. Thank God he has a little tactical speed getting away from the gate, but he's pretty special.
And yeah, again, I mean, 31 starts. That's. I mean, we're living in a day and age where, obviously we're seeing horses, and I understand it. I'm one of those people. I'll never tell an owner, what to do with their horse. I mean, how could you ever tell somebody who's got an amazing stud offer on their colt, don't retire it? I mean, people can do what they want to do. That's their horse. But there is still something to be said that we should acknowledge the iron horses that are going in there, picking up their paychecks and just running honest races. I mean, multiple stakes winner. The Nijinsky was a great performance. I mean, he's a cool horse. And where's he going to go?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I know he went back to Cheesewood Stable actually yesterday, and they have a phenomenal aftercare program. I'm not sure if they're looking into a stud crew reform or not, but they take everything home and make sure they have.
Right, he is still intact. I forgot about. See, that's what I'm saying right there. When you see a horse run, and he's got a great female family too, because that Flaming Rose, that's like the family of Flame Away and a whole bunch of other really nice horses.
Yeah, he definitely has stud career potential. I'm not sure if there was any interest in him or not, but Cheesewood rehomes everything or retrains them, and yeah, they all get a very happy ending there. They do a great job.
Well, that's great to hear. And speaking of happy endings, thank you so much, Allison, for joining us. And was there anything before I let you go? Because all I'm going to do after this is I'm just going to wrap up what people can look forward to coming up this weekend in terms of the Win and You're In action. But is there anything that you feel like we didn't touch upon that's really been important to you in your career that you would have loved to have mentioned, or anything that you're really excited about beyond the whether it's Breeders' Cup related or ahead of that you'd like to talk about?
No, I just thank you for having me, and I appreciate being on here and getting to talk about my experiences. I especially appreciate Roger letting me come on to talk about the stable and him, and he's done a phenomenal job and get the best out of all of the individuals in the barn. And to the Slam, for example, he retires a lot of horses sound and late in their careers, like Samard or Are You Kidding Me? Yeah, I'm excited. I believe in what he does and hope we can win it.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing Lady Speightspeare in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. Thank you so much for your time. My special guest, Allison Walker. She is the assistant trainer to dual Hall of Famer Roger Attfield. And she's just, again, worked with so many notable stars already in the past, and we look forward to seeing more on the rise. Allison, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So there you go. This is the Future Stars Friday forecast. But you have more to look forward to, because this weekend, oh my gosh, buckle up, Buttercups, because you've got a crazy slate of races. Let me just pull it up for you here, because you might want to write it down. There's so much to look forward to. Check this out. You have, oh my goodness. All right, so I don't know if you could, oh, Allison's right. Allison, why'd you hang tight? You can look there and go, oh my gosh, look at all these races. So check it out here. You've got the Shadwell Rockville Stakes, which is a Win and You're In for the Juvenile Fillies turf. That is this Friday. It's happening at Newmarket. Then the next day, Saturday at Newmarket, you've got the Juddmonte Royal Lodge for the juvenile turf. Over here in the United States, I know it says Santa Anita first, but I'm going to talk about Belmont Park because they're on the East Coast. So the Vosburg, September 26th on Saturday for the sprint. Now let's talk about on Saturday's card, because I can say it all in one shot. Santa Anita, it's basically like a super stacked Saturday of Win and You're In. So you've got the Speakeasy Stakes, a Win and You're In for the juvenile turf sprint. You've got the Rodeo Drive for the Maker's Mark filly and mare turf. The American Pharoah Stakes used to be the Front Runner Stakes. The American Pharoah Stakes, a Win and You're In for the TVG Juvenile, presented by the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance. And then the Chandelier Stakes, that's going to light the way to the juvenile fillies. And of course, topping that off, the Awesome Again Stakes. It's a Win and You're In for the Longines Classic. Fun fact for you, Awesome Again won the 1998 Breeders' Cup Classic. And for a long time, he was the only horse to have won the Classic to then sire a Classic champion. We're talking about 2004's Classic winner, Go Sapper. But last year, well, we saw Vino Rosso win the Breeders' Cup Classic, and he is a son of another Classic champion in Curlin. So there you go. Awesome Again, Curlin, the only two Classic winners to sire Classic champions as well. But you think that's it? No. You need to catch your breath. You need to get a good night's rest, because then on Sunday, we've got a Win and You're In at the Hippodromo di Gavia, the Grande Premio Brasil for the Longines turf, and then back at Santa Anita, We've got Win and You're In action, the Santa Anita Sprint Championship, surprise, surprise, a Win and You're In for the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and then the Zenyatta Stakes. And if you don't know who that race is named for, you must be new to racing, because the only female to have ever won the Breeders' Cup Classic is Zenyatta, and she came so close to have been, joining Tisnat was the only horse to win it twice, because she just missed getting to blame in the Classic of, what was that, 2011? 2011, I believe. That was at Churchill. So, that's a winning year for the Longines distaff, and you don't want to miss it. There's just so much action. So I hope you were paying attention to all of that, and I'm going to actually bring Allison in so she can confirm to me whether or not I'm right or wrong. Was it 2011? 2011, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was losing my mind there for a moment. Well, quick question then to you. Well, I still have you. So did you think she was going to get to blame? That's a tough one, I know.
I don't know. And you know what? I think I'm wrong now. I don't think it was 2011. It's Perfect Shirl was 2011.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Before that.
It's got to be 2010 then. That was a blank. Let me see. I'm losing my mind. Let's see here. Zenyatta. I'm going to check it out now too.
I'm really torn because.
No, it was 2010. It was 2010. Yep. And yeah, 2010. She won it in 2009.
Yeah.
So you don't.
Zenyatta's wonderful, and I wanted her to win, but Blame's a pretty awesome stallion too. So.
Yeah. I know.
I feel bad he gets a lot of shame thrown at him because of that win, but he was awesome.
He's a tremendous racehorse, Blame. But I will say this: when she came out of the gate that day, I was like, oh no, she does not like this surface. And then I think I had read a quote, and I could be wrong, but I thought I'd read a quote from Mike saying that he had even thought that like maybe she was off and he was going to pull her up, but then she started to roll like she regularly does, and he was like, oh no, she's fine. So and then, considering how far back she was, just the ground she made up to get that close to Blame. I mean, a lot of people say that is her most impressive performance, irrespective of the outcome. But, gosh, it's a heartbreaker for them and for the fans. But again, Blame won it on the square.
But I think it was good for fans. That made a lot of Blame fans. It made it brought some drama to the sport. A lot of people were mad at Mike, and it wasn't his fault. And there was so much emotion in one race.
I know. But what a mare she is. I'm just an incredible athlete. And, that was an incredible ride. Oh, and speaking of ride, I want to give a shout out also to Garrett Gomez, because I think he was actually hurt riding that day. You were talking about you went to start your career with Roger hurt. I think he was hurt too. It was either his wrist or his arm, something in there, I believe. Was
I remember, but I'm not sure what it was. But full credit to those jockeys. They are some of the best humans around.
Well, thank you for hanging through my little faux pas there. Bringing you back in, I appreciate it. I want you to hang tight once I close this out so I can say thanks, personally. So again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Be sure you go to breederscup.com. You can check out the full schedule of Win and You're In race action, where you can watch it. And get excited. We're getting close. November 6th and 7th, the 6th, of course, being Future Stars Friday. I will talk to you here next Tuesday. Until then, get winning on your bets. Oh, no, I almost forgot. I do a BC Live with Dan Torgman for all those races this Saturday. So you'll want to tune in and watch us, because it's a fun time. If you think I'm nutty now, I drink during that show. So watch out. Okay, now that being said, as far as the Future Stars Friday forecast for a 2-year-old Tuesday, you can tune back in next Tuesday. Ta-ta for now.